Ooh la la la, ooh la la la, ooh la la la. What's up, y'all? My name is Michaela Tierra. This is my first ever YouTube video. I'm getting new to this YouTube thing, starting off my YouTube channel to see, what happens. So this first video, I'm just gonna be telling y'all a little bit about myself and what to expect with my channel. So if you are here, go ahead and subscribe to my channel because y'all in store for some good stuff to come. So just giving you a little bit of background on myself. I was born and raised in a small town called Spring Lake, North Carolina. It's right beside Fayetteville, North Carolina. If you ever heard of Fayetteville, you might heard of the rapper J. Cole. That's what a lot of people like to associate Fayetteville with. Or military, Fort Bragg. They're all kind of right beside each other. So that is where I am from. I'm a dental hygienist. I've actually been a hygienist for 4 years now, and I absolutely love what I do, y'all. I love doing dental hygiene. So basically today, I just wanted to talk to y'all about what inspired me to do YouTube. So one of my best friends, one of my closest friends, and my hygiene sister, her name is Taja Ferjuice. She actually has a YouTube channel herself. It is TAJAHFERJUSTE. So if you do not follow my girl, make sure you go follow her because she has some good stuff on her channel. So for a while now, she's been telling me, girl, Michaela, you need to get on YouTube, do YouTube. But I'm like, girl, no, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna leave that to you. But she just kept telling me I should do it. And I thought about it, but I was like, we'll see. And so one day I posted a TikTok video about a month ago about my dental hygiene journey, and just not even thinking it was gonna, nothing was gonna happen. And I started getting likes. I got a couple hundred likes, and then 100 likes turned into 1,000 likes. 1,000 likes turned into 2,000, and I got like over 5,000 likes on that video. And a lot of people were commenting saying that how I inspired them and how they wanted to do dental hygiene too. And people were just asking me questions, and I was like, dang, like I didn't even know that my little video would blow up the way it did. So that was another inspiration for me. So there were some questions. I even had people message me on Instagram just asking me about dental hygiene. So I thought, why not do my first YouTube video answering some of those questions that people were asking me. So I did write down some of the questions that I were getting. So first and foremost, people were asking, how do you get started? Basically, for dental hygiene, I went to a community college. It's called Fayetteville Technical Community College. One of the best schools to do dental hygiene if you live in the area, I'm telling you. So you start by applying to the school. You do have to take prerequisite courses before you even get into the program. So the prereqs include like your anatomy, your English, microbiology, biochemistry, what else did I take? Sociology, psychology, all of those basic core classes. And when you take those classes, the science classes like the anatomy, microbiology, and biological chemistry, those are the classes that you really want to get the highest possible scores in, because when you apply to the program, they're going to be looking at the other classes, but those sciences are what really are going to, see who's top tier. So you start by doing that. My prereqs took me about like a year and a half, and honestly, they weren't hard. My hardest prereq, I would say, was biological chemistry. I hated that class. I ain't even gonna lie. I hated that class. My instructor was difficult. She was difficult to understand. That's actually the only class on my transcript that I ended up getting a C in. Now, when I was in hygiene school, you had to have a C or better to enter the program because they changed the grading scale. But after they changed it, my C actually would have been a B because of how they changed it. But yeah, that was a pretty hard class. Other than that, everything else was pretty smooth sailing for me. So after you do your prereqs, now some people do most of their prereqs and then apply to the program with maybe 1 or 2 prereqs left. For me, I made sure I had all of my prereqs because I wanted to have the highest chance possible of getting into the program. I went into this fresh out of high school. I had no experience, didn't know a thing about dental hygiene besides what my best friend did a presentation on when we were in English class in high school. So from there, also, before you apply to the dental hygiene program, you have to take what's called a TEAS test. So basically, a TEAS test is like a placement test that helps to get you into the program. And that includes like English, science, and some math on there as well. So I would say it's like equivalent to taking maybe, I don't know, like a placement test before you get into actual college, or like taking like an ACT or SAT before going into college. So with that placement test, I can't remember the exact score that you had to get. I remember personally, I went into it, I did not study at all. That was actually one of the questions that I was asked. Did I study? How did I study for the placement test? And I didn't study. Now I'm not telling people don't study for it, because I know who I am. I know how I am. So I just thought, I know my stuff. I'm just going to go in. These are classes that I already have taken. I already have knowledge. So why overcram and overstudy for me to start going in to take this TEAS test and second guess myself? So I went in, took it, and I passed on the first time. So after you pass your TEAS test, you have all of your prereqs, then you can apply to the program. Typically, to apply to a program, you usually apply like at the beginning of the year, like around January, and then it takes maybe like a month or two before they kind of start saying, who's a category 1 applicant or who has a chance of getting in. So after all of that, I got my email. So I applied like around January, and then I think I got my email like around right before the summertime hit. I got the email saying that I was a category 1 applicant. So then I'm like, okay, category 1, that must mean I have a good chance of getting in. So from there, they pretty much make you come to a like dental hygiene kind of seminar thing with all the other applicants who have a potential of getting in. They do an interview. Now the interview at my school, it wasn't like a one-on-one interview with any of the instructors. It literally was like questions on a piece of paper. We did the interview on paper, and then we had to stand up, introduce ourselves and all that stuff. And so from there, it took like a month before we actually knew if we got in the program or not. So when that waiting period, I was just like, you know what? If I don't get in, I'm going to the military. That was my thought process. If I did not get into this program, I was going to go into the military. But luckily, your girl got in on her first try, and I was so excited because there were actually people who had been trying to get in the program 2 and 3 more different times, and I got in on my first try. So I was really excited. So after you know for a fact that you got into the program, you actually have another seminar that you go to with all of the hygiene students. Now at FTCC, they actually took 32 students in, and at that seminar, they pretty much were just telling us the ins and outs of the dental hygiene program, what to expect. One thing that they did stress to us with was the program was very tedious and very time consuming. They did not lie. I'm telling y'all. Now, at first I was like, they're just trying to scare us. It can't be that hard. Like, I know it's going to be a challenge, but maybe they just doing, being a little more dramatic to kind of shake us up a little bit. Whew, they were not lying. The program was very tedious, and it was very stressful. I remember they told us, if you're a mom, you're going to be a bad mom. If you're a wife or girlfriend, you are going to be a bad wife or girlfriend, because this program will take up most, if not all, of your time during the week. And it really did. At the time, I was actually working at a fast food restaurant, and a lot of people were like, oh, well, I'm not going to work in the program. Some people were saying it was impossible to work in a program, but I actually worked all the way up until I graduated. So anything's possible if you put your mind to it. Another question that I had was, how long did the program take? So once I got in the program, it was 2 years. So that's after you do all your prereqs. Prereqs took like 1.5 years. Once you get in the program, it's another 2 years. And then from there, you go through all of the courses. First semester was okay. It wasn't that bad. I was like, okay, I got through the first semester. It was a little challenging, but I mean, it can't get any worse. Huh. Oh yeah, it got harder. And honestly, as the semesters went along, you would think as you got to the end, it got easier, but I actually feel like it got harder. Not more so like coursework hard, but the stress of having to get certain qualifications done. Each semester we had to test back in on certain skills, like clinical skills. And the way my instructors were, they always made it very known that your spot was never secure 100% in the program. Like I had people who, got all the way through first and second semester, got to summer semester, and they got kicked out because they didn't test back in appropriately. So the whole course, 5 semesters, that equals the 2 years. In the actual program, you have to maintain a B or better in all of those classes. And it was very challenging. It was challenging. I'm gonna tell y'all, like, I was always really good in school, but dental hygiene school was a different type of challenge, more so because you couldn't just, take a test and forget about it, pass just to pass. All of that stuff always came back later. So you literally had to read, you had to retain what you were reading and know your stuff because it was always gonna come back. So that part it was a challenge, but I will tell y'all, like, there will be people that will try to discourage you from joining. I'm not one of those people. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat. I'm gonna tell you 100% how it is. It is hard. It is very hard. But don't let that discourage you from joining if that's something that you really want to do. What else was I asked? So yeah, somebody asked me, was school hard? Yeah, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. You could be the best person in school, and I will tell you, the dental hygiene program will definitely show you a challenge. It will. It definitely will. One thing that helped me in the program was actually getting close to 2 of my closest friends now, Nastasia and Bree. We did the dental hygiene program together all the way through. We struggled together. We studied together. I mean, we turned up during the hygiene program, honestly, because we knew we couldn't be consumed all in school at one time. Like, people in our class were like, oh, how do y'all make time to have fun and still come in and pass y'all classes? I don't know how we did it because we was turning up, but we still studied and we still passed our stuff and we knew our stuff. So that's one thing I will tell y'all. If you are going to go into dental hygiene, make sure you get at least one person that you can connect with and get close with, because that's something you really don't want to do on your own. Nobody else will kind of understand what you're going through other than somebody else who's in the program as well. So doing study groups. We used to do study groups and have little seafood boils and study at the same time. It's a challenge, but it works. Like with me, like I said, I was working during the hygiene program. My days literally consisted of getting up, being in class at 7 a.m., sometimes up to like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I would go home, take a little cat nap, and I had to be back at work at 5 o'clock. I took my books to work. I studied during my downtime. I was not letting anything get in the middle of me not going through with this program. My mindset was, I have to make it through this program. I have to get through because I know the reward at the end is going to be so good. And it is. The reward is good, but you're going to go through some, loopholes to get to that reward. But hey, if you know anything about life, you know that nothing good in life comes easy. You have to work for it. And it was a challenge. So, basically, after we finished all of, the classes and everything, you do have to take a national board and a state board. Now, for the national board, that was actually like a 4-hour long computer test, multiple choice answers. And we actually took that before we graduated. I can't remember how much the test was, but the cost, it was up there. That's another thing about dental hygiene school. It's expensive. It really is. So if you got to take out them student loans, take out them student loans. It's not a lot, but compared to someone who goes to like a 4-year university for hygiene, that's one thing I didn't mention. Now for hygiene, you can go to a 4-year university or you can go to a community college. Now, whichever one you decide to do, just know that the pay is the same. So I had to weigh my options because I'm like, okay, we have UNC Chapel Hill who offers dental hygiene, and then I can go to FCCC. Do I want to have hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans, or do I want to just have a couple of $1,000s in loans left? I chose the thousands of dollars left because I'm like, why would I put myself through all that loans after I graduated when I can just go to a community college, make the same pay? The only difference is if you have a bachelor's in hygiene, you can be a teacher. And I knew I did not want to be a teacher. That's just something I didn't want to do. So yeah, don't ever let anybody tell you, oh, you have to have a bachelor's in hygiene or you won't get a job. That ain't true. Most people in hygiene have an associate's degree. But yeah, you take your national board. Now the national board, I will say, it was hard. Like I left that thinking that I did not pass at all, but I did. I passed my national board. Then we graduated. That was like the best feeling ever. Just making it across that stage, graduating, to know that I overcame something so hard. We started with 32 people, around 32 people. We ended with like 21 people. That many people had got cut out of the program in a 2-year span. Some people actually, I think we had like 2 classmates that actually quit like the first day after they went over the syllabus and how much of a load it would be. We had people that quit, but I knew that quitting was not an option. Failure was not an option for me. I had to make it through this program. So basically after we graduated, you still have to take your state board. Now the state board was way easier. At least for me it was. That's when you have to take your own live patient to a facility and you have to clean their teeth. And they have instructors that go and check how you clean their teeth. It's a lot more to it than just cleaning. You do have to make sure they have enough buildup on their teeth. But at your school, they will definitely go over the whole process, make sure that your patient that you do want to take to that board qualifies for that. So they will prepare you. And that's one thing I take pride in about the school I went to. They prepared us very, very well. We even had like a national board review before we took our national board. They made it mandatory for us. Some schools don't make it mandatory. But that's basically going over from first semester all the way down to the last semester, everything that you've learned. It was a whole weekend, thick book, probably like this thick, of info that you learned throughout the years. And it was multiple schools that were there. And I will tell you, my school was answering most of the questions. There were questions that they were asking that none of the other schools didn't know, but the school I went to, we were raising our hands left and right. And that really made me feel a little bit more confident to where, I'm like, okay, well, they really prepared us well compared to some of the other schools. But all in all, dental hygiene school it was a journey. It was fun. It was hard. Even the class portion, some of the days were fun. We actually did certain projects where we got to go to, the elementary school and present things to the kids about dental hygiene. And that stuff was really fun for me. Would I do it all over again? No. No, I would not do it all over again. I'm not one of those people who are going to lie and say, oh, I would do it all over again, because I wouldn't. I surely would not. It was a challenge. Now, the people that I met, I still have, like I said, close relationships with 2 of the closest people, but I did meet some really good people in the program, and we're like this. That was my best experience with dental hygiene school, honestly. I actually had another question that I was asked: would I choose dental assisting? So it all depends on what you want to do. Basically, a dental assistant is someone who sits right alongside the dentist. They hand over instruments. They assist the dentist with certain procedures. A hygienist is considered a provider. We are more on our own. We can diagnose things like gum disease and things like that. We can place, different antibiotics under the gum tissue to prevent gum disease and things like that. So it just depends on what you want to do. And like I said, if you want to go to hygiene, it is hard. It's harder than dental assisting school. I think it's a little bit more strategic, but it just depends on what you want your outcome to be. And there is a pay difference as well. Pays vary by state. So you just have to look up what, a hygienist versus an assistant starts off with in your area. And I think that's pretty much the gist of what I went through in hygiene school. Like I said, I'm super excited for this YouTube journey. Just expect, you know, some dope videos. If y'all have any other questions, comment below. Tell me what y'all want to see, what type of content y'all want to see. And yeah, we just gonna make it do what it do. And I'll see y'all next time.